All the USF Pro Championships entries will carry a decal to acknowledge the Indiana University Melvin and Brent Simon Comprehensive Cancer Center. Green flag flying, folks. We are underway. Green, green, green. One driver way to the bottom of the racetrack. That was Max Garcia. Dove to the bottom. We'll go 3 wide down the back straightaway. Giafoni gets the early lead, so we are now racing here in USF2000. I thought we were going to get one more pace lap. We did not. Straight at it, and we are racing. 75 laps. One goes in the books. Underway. That was a big move down the bottom. We talked about for Garcia. He started in 7th spot. He was trying to work his way up there. I think he may have got one position. You see some more side-by-side racing a bit further back as well. Drivers work on the high side. Couple of them trying to make that low side work. These tires are going to come up to temperature pretty quickly. I think that's Sam Corey in the bottom in the number 23. He's battling it out now with Joey Brienza up top. When we do get a chance to calm down a bit, I do have a driver analyst here today, a racer who is no stranger to competition here at IRP, Yuvan Sundaramurthy from Able Motorsports, the Indy Next driver, sitting alongside. We'll bring him in here for some expert commentary. Let this field kind of settle in here right now. Giafoni out to a pretty solid lead early. Ayrton Hauk holding on to that 2nd spot. Good little scrap there. Right now running in the 3rd and 4th position. That is a good battle here for that spot, because at the bottom side, Tanner DeFabis trying to hold on, but Quinn Armstrong to the top side. Big run there. Let's see. The only problem here is DeFabis is holding him down to the bottom, and that's given some dirty air for Quinn. He's right behind Ayrton Hauk, so he doesn't have that air over top of the front wing. A little lower for DeFabis. He's able to stay in it as that front wing and all that downforce being leveraged. DeFabis trying to see if he can't clear Armstrong. He's not been able to get back up top. The spotters, of course, so crucial here at IRP. Things settling in nicely right now. Let's bring in Yuvan Sundaramurthy. Yuvan, obviously, you've not only raced here, but you're actually spotting for the USF Pro Championship. So let's talk about the spotters a little bit. DeFabis holding that bottom line. He's just waiting for that call that he's clear and can go back up top.
Yeah, it's super important for these drivers to be able to trust their spotters. It's a big part of knowing when you're clear, knowing when you're not clear, when you can move up in front of those guys, especially when you do the patented slide job here. You got to know when you're clear so you don't take out the guy above you and end up taking out your race too. But it's a big thing that a lot of these guys, especially these new guys, have to deal with that they've never had to deal with before. Ayrton Hauk has tons of experience running midget, so he's used to that spotter, unlike the pole sitter here, Nicholas Giafoni. So it'll be very interesting once these guys get a run. Looks like Tanner DeFabis here is getting a good run here, so let's see if he can challenge the leader here in a bit. Yeah,
I'll tell you this right now, Tanner DeFabis, who rookie in the series, just kind of getting the hang of things here in this USF2000 program, but he is looking very comfortable here on the oval, works his way up and gets to the inside of Ayrton Hauk, so make that move to P2. Tanner DeFabis in the J. Howard driver development machine is a rocket right now, settling in nicely here. He'll run in that 2nd spot. 3rd right now is Hauk. 4th is Quinn Armstrong. 5th is Evagoras Papasavas. 6th is Max Taylor. 7th is Max Garcia. 8th, Sam Corey. 9th, Joey Brienza. And rounding out the top 10, Michael Costello. I talked about watching Michael Costello. Started 15th. +5 in the opening couple of laps. You've raced here a lot. The opening laps are the best opportunity to make passes for Costello. That's big to get himself up to P15.
Yeah, huge opportunity to make passes here, but also you can get caught out really early. You can get stuck on the low line. Also important to see here, Tanner DeFabis running that low line almost every lap. One thing that these guys that don't have as much experience here won't recognize is that the Silver Crown guys just ran 100 laps here. That's a ton of rubber on the low line. They run much lower than these USF2000 cars. So Tanner DeFabis using that early and able to get a ton of speed, fast lap by almost a 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, he's rolling up big time here on Nicholas Giafoni. In fact, right up onto the gearbox right now. We had our oval clinic on Thursday morning where Brian Herta, Charlie Kimball, and R.C. Enerson, all veteran drivers, of course, came and talked to our pilots, and we're talking about being able to run that middle line. And look at this. We got a challenge for the race lead. Tanner DeFabis going to the bottom of the racetrack here right now. DeFabis out of Avon, Indiana. What a move. He'll go to the bottom. We have a new leader. Tanner DeFabis has gone to P1. What a drive right now for DeFabis. Gets himself up from 3rd. Battled out with Quinn Armstrong for a bit. Found his way by Ayrton Hauk. And he now leads it. Still running that bottom line like you've been talked about. One of the things we did chat about in the Oval Clinic was that simple fact that the track was going to be different when they rolled out, having had that all the rubber from the Hoosier 100. And the interesting thing, you've run a lot of these races. We were doing Cooper tires back then. The Continentals are actually made by Hoosier, so it's a more similar compound I would expect. Probably a little easier to drive.
That's for sure, and also these compounds are the same compound that they run on the road courses, so it's a very interesting thing for these guys to deal with, and these long runs that we didn't really get a big chance to run with in practice, it'll be interesting to see who adapts to that the quickest. I think you're going to keep your eye on Ayrton Hauk there. One of the most experienced oval drivers in the field, so we'll see how he does later on in this race.
Yeah, Ayrton's got a lot of experience riding the Kenyan midgets, so he does have a lot of that experience. It's an opportunity for him to kind of show up here big. But I'll tell you, if you're an Indiana race fan, they're running second and third, or rather first and third right now, with DeFabis leading the way and Hauk running in third. So the Indiana drivers looking good here right now, locking out a couple spots on the podium. Early running though here right now. Remember, 75 lapper. And you've been in the paddock, of course. You know, you're working with Nicolas Baptiste, the Colombian. You'll be his spotter. The big story, obviously, is the maximum level of grip that we've got in these Continentals. They have a ton of grip. It's a soft compound. We got it. You and I talked about it briefly. These drivers near the end of this thing, it's going to start getting to the point where they're going to get worn out. It's a real heavy steering wheel.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to be a big war of attrition, especially when we get to the USF Pro 2000 race a little bit later today. But for these guys, it's going to be kind of hanging on. You can't push a little bit too hard too early and get tired late. That's a lot of times we see a late pass, the 10 laps to go, is just the driver wears himself out a little early. And also with these tires, we're used to the oval tires not really wearing off too much towards the end of the race. These tires will maybe have a bigger fall off, maybe not. We're not sure because we haven't really seen those long runs yet.
It's the unknown, right? The fact we don't know what these tires are going to do. Are they going to fall off once you get down to lap 60, lap 65? And again, how are these drivers? We talk a lot about the fitness and what they've got to do to be able to hold on to these race cars. Tanner DeFabis is flat checking out right now. What a run so far, 1.4 second lead for DeFabis. I know a lot of drivers you've been talking about potentially settling in, running maybe 85, 90%. I don't think DeFabis is doing that right now. Unless that thing is absolutely perfect, this guy's probably pushing 100% right now.
Definitely not. Yeah, he's definitely moving forward and starting from that P3 spot. He moved himself forward early, which is exactly what you need here. Dirty air is a big thing for wearing those front tires down. We've got a couple guys that they might catch up to in a couple laps here from a lap down, so we'll see how he deals with that traffic.
Yeah, I think that's going to be key. You're right. He's got that open racetrack right now. Get out there, and again, get away from Giafoni. Give yourself the opportunity where you have some time to maybe take a little more time getting by those lap cars, because when we talked about it in the drivers' meeting, race director Joel Miller said, listen, the drivers that you're trying to lap, they've got the opportunity to make sure they don't get laps. So it's all well and good that they're going to try to race you. Once they go a lap down or 2 laps down, then we're going to ask them to kind of kindly get out of the way. But that first overtake, you got to get the job done yourself, because then a yellow could come out and they're back on the lead lap.
Yeah, that's for sure. We always see the classic pick move be a big part of these races late. When you get close and a car in front of you is a lap down, it's good to use them as a pick and kind of make your move.
Brady Golan's coming into pit lane. Something wrong with the D-Force driver, the Texan, who started in the 16th position, has pulled off the racetrack and I don't know if he's done for the day or will come back in and make some adjustments and head back out. But right now, Brady Golan in the 18 coming into pit lane, as you can see there, left side of the screen. Leader is rocking and rolling right now. Tanner DeFabis. I don't think that Tanner would have thought that this was in the cards here, coming in as a rookie driver in the program. Jay Howard has had some success here over the past years. Christian Rasmussen being the primary example, was able to win here at the IRP in the Freedom 75 and the Freedom 90. So crucial for if that car is this good, this is a really good opportunity for Tanner DeFabis, the rookie driver, to potentially put a win on the board here right now. And again, as you know, Euven, 1.5 points. Normally 30 points for a race win. This would be 45 points for a race win. Tanner comes in right now in the 17th place. His best finish so far was a 9th at IMS, top 10 finish in the first race of the doubleheader at IMS. How would this change the mindset, you think, if he comes away with a victory here?
No, it's huge for a driver. I mean, just to get the confidence that this event builds. Obviously, it's an oval versus the rest of the road courses that we run, but confidence is huge, and we've got a big pack starting up here right behind Ayrton Hauk in 3rd place, and Tanner DeFabis made easy work of Carson Etter there for the lap car.
Yeah, he did. He got a good move, went down to the bottom. We already know he's good on the bottom, which is crucial here. There have been times that some teams would set up just to be able to be on the bottom. You know the car's going to be pretty good up top. But the idea is to get to the bottom. But let's key on it. There's a good shot there. That's the move by Giaffoni getting by Carson Edwards. That's the driver holding in second spot right now. But the gap to the group back there, right behind that you've been brought up. Ayrton Hauk in the 58, Quinn Armstrong in the 11, Evagoras Papasavas in the 6, and Max Taylor there as well in the number 3. Then it's a big gap back to your point leader, Max Garcia. Number of wins on the season so far for Garcia, 4 in total. He hasn't finished outside the top 6. His 6 is his worst finish of the year. So, although where he is right now, currently running 7th, that would be the new low finish, although he'll still likely have the point lead, get a good margin over Papasavas, 40 points over Papasavas. But Garcia there running in that spot. Drivers settling in here now, 29 laps down. Again, a 75 lapper for drivers in USF 2000. It'll be 90 for USF Pro 2000. Those drivers probably even in for a longer afternoon than these drivers in USF 2000. The cars in USF Pro, the front tires are a lot larger, more downforce. It's going to be a heavy wheel, and those guys are going to be spent when they're done with 90 laps.
And we're definitely seeing the aero wash here come into play for this pack for the running for third place here. You can see they keep catching the back of Giaffoni, and then just once they get close, it's hard to keep there, and they fall back a little bit.
You would talk about that. You've got a race car that you know is probably faster than the guy in front of you, but when you get into that aero wash, you're coming down to try to get some air on the front wing. What's it feel like coming into the corner? Does it just not want to turn?
Yeah, it's the most frustrating thing when you get close and you're like, I've got way more speed than this guy, but I can't get it to turn down to the corner. You got to wait for the gas, and then you get a bad exit. Obviously, we know the low line's working here, as Tanner DeFavis is showing us, so I'm interested to see if any of these guys in this pack for third place start to dive low and run that line consistently instead of trying to go back up to this high line.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. Someone's got to commit to that bottom line, that second groove in the bottom there to hold the spot, because as you see, our cars here run a higher line than you just saw in the USAC Silver Crown cars. So again, it's DeFavis leading. We are closing in on the halfway point of this one. DeFavis is your leader. Nicholas Giaffoni runs second. Ayrton Hauk third. Quinn Armstrong fourth. The rookies are 1, 2, 3, 4. First time here on the oval, and they are putting it down. Papasavas runs in fifth. He was second last year here in the Freedom 75. Taylor has been able to get by. No, Taylor's holding on to sixth. Then it's that run back to Max Garcia, Michael Costello, Joey Brienza, and Sam Corey. Xavier Kokai, who was very quick in testing on Wednesday, who started 10th, runs there. So he's not been able to make any ground up whatsoever. So not surprising, the driver kind of settling in. We do have a couple of good battles. Here's a shot here again. They come out onto the front straightaway. That's Quinn Armstrong. That's he and Papasavas. Here's Papasavas going to the bottom. You called it. Get to the bottom line. You got to make the move. We're side by side. That's the current fight for P4. The Australian on top, that is Armstrong, and then in the bottom is Papasavas from Ohio. Quinn Armstrong celebrating a birthday yesterday, doing a great job on the top line, but listen, Papasavas ain't giving up. He keeps digging that bottom row.
And Quinn Armstrong with a very veteran move there in turn 3 and 4, pulled low. So Papasavas went to the inside line, and Quinn Armstrong forced him down almost 2 lanes low. He ran the low line himself, and that's going to cost Papasavas another position here to Max Taylor.
And that's exactly it, right? He had to get checked up there. A good job for Quinn. Then, of course, Max Taylor taking full advantage of that. He was able to make the move to the bottom, coming through turns number 3 and 4. So move Max Taylor now up to P5. Papasavas there going back into 6th position. So Evagoras Papasavas, P2 in the championship right now, has not yet got that win. He's had a run of 5 straight podiums to start the year. 4th in race number 1 in Indianapolis, and then a 19th, a tough one, in race number 2 at Indianapolis. He needs another solid finish here, although the points he's accrued early are good for him. There's picking up the 67 there of Elliott Cox, running back in 14th. Elliott started 13th, just hasn't been able to work his way forward. Didn't get the qualifying run he wanted. He's scrapping it out right now here with G3 Argyros. He'll go to the bottom of the racetrack. Here's Cox. Going to make a move to the bottom. Argyros to the top side, Cox to the bottom side, trying to get this pass done to go back to P13, and he is clearing through. So a pass done there, gets the call from the spotter, goes back to the high side. Argyros thinks about the bottom, can't quite make it stick, and that pass now finished on the way up the straightaway. Qualifying so key, Euban. We talk about a lot about it. You know, if you look back historically, first, second, or third, vast majority of the race winners. poles like half the time, winning from pole. That's what this track is so tough to pass on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely a hard track to pass on for the reasons that we talked about. That aero wash is big, and honestly, I think the conditions today are going to be really, really advantageous for making moves, right? We had the rain wash out all the grip yesterday, so all that high line grip is gone, and now Silver Crown's put down a bunch of low line grip, so honestly, there might be some more grip down there on the low side.
I'm checking out a couple battles further back. We're watching this one here. This is Max Taylor coming off a big victory. His first USF2000 win came just a couple of weeks ago on the road course at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The VRD driver looks to be pretty good here midway through. Now we are past the halfway point, 42 laps down, 33 laps to go. And again, these drivers, this is when they're going to start getting a little tired. But Max Taylor seems to be a driver on the move right now. We'll see whether or not he has enough to potentially reel in and get by Quinn Armstrong. He's right there with him. Indeed, right off the gearbox, and you can see him just maybe a half a lane down. Didn't commit to the very bottom lane, but even just a half a lane down allows a little air come over the front wing.
That's for sure, and we can see here in third place, big opportunity for Ayrton Hauk. They catch up to his teammate Carson Etter, and Carson Etter does not give Giafoni a good, easy time making the move pass, and lets this pack of Ayrton Hauk and the rest of the third place guys go. So hopefully that gives some opportunity to his teammate there. That's what they're hoping for.
That's third, fourth, and fifth on the screen right there. Ayrton Hauk, Quinn Armstrong, and Max Taylor in the number 3. Taylor trying to work his way forward here. Max started in the 5th spot, fell back a couple of spots, but has clawed his way back up into the P5 position, so a net 0 at this point, but a good recovery for Taylor. That's him right there, working his way up here on Quinn Armstrong, who's having a good run as well. Quinn had a really strong start to the season. It's tough to see him back in 10th place in points because the first 5 races were all top 10s. 7th, 8th, 8th, 9th, and then 2 DNFs essentially in the races at Indianapolis. He just did not have any luck. I literally went to him in the paddock after Indianapolis and said, listen, I'll give you some cash. You got to go buy yourself some luck because it is just horrible. Not of his own. Oh, it's spinning. Driver's gone around. And that's contact there. Ayrton Hauk has spun, and I believe that is Taylor, I think, contact as well. So trouble coming out of turn number 2. Ayrton Hauk lost the rear end of the DC Autosport machine. Just broke loose coming out of the corner. And nowhere to go for Max Taylor as he just gets clipped. There's the 58 of Ayrton Hauk. AMR IndyCar safety team getting there.
And that is the unfortunate part about oval racing, especially for a driver like Max Taylor there, just to kind of stand by position. You're coming out of that corner with pretty much on the limit of the tire, and if a car like that spins in front of you, it's super difficult to get to the low side. And that's also a big part of the spotters, right? You got to call as soon as you see that car spin, back it down, get the car to slow down.
And even let's talk about that. When you're running a road course and somebody spins in front of you, like you said, you're able to make the move to the left. You're able to make the move to the right. When you're coming in at a turn 1 and 2 like that, you're fully committed, right? You got the wheel in the thing. Like you said, you're on the absolute limit of the tire. You can't ask that much more.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much at the limit of the tire the whole way through the corner. That's at least the fast way to go around the corner, and we know those guys in the lead are definitely running close to that limit. So unfortunate. Hopefully the drivers are okay. That was a pretty big impact for Ayrton Hauk. Hopefully we can see him get out of the car here soon, but besides those 2 that crashed, the one that's really not looking forward to this caution is Tanner DeFabis.
Right. Yeah, Tanner DeFabis had a massive lead, as we know, was able to pull away. And so let's kind of restack things a little bit here. I believe I did see Ayrton Hauk getting out of the car, which was great. We have not seen yet Max Taylor. At least we didn't see him get out. I think he may be out of the car already. Tanner DeFabis, your leader. Nicholas Giafoni in second. Quinn Armstrong now third. Evagores Papasavas up into fourth. That moves Max Garcia into fifth. Michael Costello up to 6th, Xavier Kokai into 7th, Brianza up to 8th, Hudson Schwartz 9th, and Sam Corey rounding out the top 10. And again, listen, let's talk about that, Ewan, because you said you've been here before. You're on the limit. You're coming out. You're full throttle on again. How easy is it to potentially lose the rear of that car? Is it just that you've got so much wheel into it coming out?
I mean, it's super easy, and the thing here is you're going so fast that if you start to lose the rear, it's really hard to save it. I mean, we see this at the Speedway, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a bunch of times with those Indy cars. Obviously, they're going a significant amount faster than these cars, but it's not much different because you're still at that limit of the tire. So just once you lose it, it's really hard to save it, and even if you do save it, eventually you might move up the track and be in the wall, especially with how we run here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, so close to the wall that there's not much room for error.
And again, like we always say, folks, they're right on the ragged edge, pushing as hard as they can. Again, we were past the halfway point, 49 laps now down. So the crew going to work, getting that car of Hauk up on the hook to get him there as well. Same thing happening with Max Taylor's VRD machine. We'll get those cars off as quick as we possibly can. If you're looking for premium performance during the month of May, receive a Visa prepaid card by mail with the purchase of 4 Continental Tire Extreme Contact Sport 02 tires, a dynamic summer ultra-high performance tire for passenger cars, ideal for both the street and track. Terms and conditions apply. Visit continentaltire.com for full details. Continental Tire, the smart choice in tires. Up front as well, you can see the again on the caution here right now. Pacing our field is our beautiful new Honda Civic Type R pace car, the most powerful Honda production vehicle ever sold in the United States. With a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder engine producing an incredible 315 horsepower. The smooth and precise 6-speed manual transmission features a revised rev match system, helping to maintain stability on corner entry, and a limited slip differential puts the engine's power to the pavement effectively. The Civic Type R leverages Honda's racetrack-proven engineering to deliver extreme performance and passion both on the road and on the racetrack. A lot of great partners we have here as part of the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire. We've mentioned Continental quite a bit. The pole for Nicholas Giafoni was worth $1,000, courtesy of Continental. $1,500 went to Braden Eves. And we talk about Continental Tire, talk about Honda. VP Racing's been a huge supporter of us as well. The Skip Barber Racing School is the official school of the USF Pro Championships. They've got their USF scholarship lined up to bring drivers from Skip Barber, the $100,000 scholarship to move to USF Juniors. They have their own Skip Barber Formula Race Series, which develops a lot of drivers, bringing them here into this program. AMR IndyCar safety crew doing their best to get these cars hooked up quickly and get us back to green flag racing. All right, listen, you've won races before in the USF Pro Championships. Restarts are always interesting, right? Tanner DeFamus got into a groove, clean air. It was all working. His spotter, of course, on the radio with him, just keep hitting your marks. This is great. We're pulling away. Car's awesome. What's the mindset? What's the spotter telling him here right now when we're getting ready to go back with a restart?
Yeah, I mean, for him, it's probably more so in his hands at this point. Spotter's really not going to tell you where to go. It's going to be where he feels comfortable going. Pretty big restart zone here, and really it's just try to catch the guy in second place off guard. If they go at the same time as you, you're going to have your mirrors full going into turn one. So hopefully for him, he gets a good start here, gets a jump, and then has those the second place of Giafoni and Armstrong battling it out, and that will give him a chance to extend that lead again.
You'll be on top of the tower for the USF Pro 2000 race, spotting for Nicholas Baptiste. I know the spotter's not going to be able to tell you really when to go, but are you the voice of calm sometimes? Like, in a situation like this, Tanner's, whoever's on the radio with him, whether it's Jay Howard or one of his other guys, can you be the voice of calm? Can you provide a little bit of insight? You're obviously a veteran driver now in Indy Next with Able Motorsports. What can you bring to the table? Yeah,
I mean, a lot of the time it's either your engineer or your spotter kind of keeping you sane. Obviously, in these situations, it's probably a lot of nerves for all those cars at front. Obviously, some of them are probably happy to get a little bit of a rest here. These cars are definitely very physical, so it's just going to kind of be on their hands to say, you're doing your race. Like, he passed from third to first, and he pulled away from the field, so there's nothing for him to worry about, and that's probably what the spotter's telling him.
Yeah, we're going to go green here pretty soon. So we've got you in the booth here. You're a race winner in the USF Pro Championships, as you know. You were able to win at Indianapolis. How are things going right now in Indy Next, and what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a rough season for me, to say the least, but definitely looking forward to the race in Detroit. Never been there before, so heard it's a pretty bumpy track, so I'm excited for that. And I'm excited to get to the ovals. I mean, 4 of our last 5 races this season are ovals. Never did an oval in that car, and it's going to be pretty fast, so excited for it.
And it's interesting, right? Our pace car, Honda pace car, is bailing out here right now, so we're going to go back to green flag racing. But, yeah, like you said, 4 of the last 5 races for Indy Next are on the ovals, and Juven will be looking forward to those as well. Great to have him in here in the booth with us. We'll send him back up top, as I said. So restart zone essentially right over in turn number 3 and 4 where you see the red sign for Indianapolis Raceway Park. That's where you can punch off anytime there. DeFamus has not yet gone. Not a great restart for DeFabus, and that is going to put him in a challenge. He did not get a big run. Giafoni's going to go back to the bottom, but he's the top side. Here comes Quinn Armstrong as well. Look at that move to the bottom, too, for Max Garcia. It was P5. He's going after it with his championship contender, Evagoras Papasavas. Papasavas now looks to the bottom of Quinn Armstrong. 55 laps down, 20 to go, and Papasavas able to get to the inside. He doesn't have the whole move to roll up. Quinn Armstrong's going to keep it onto the top side. Throttle down. Papasavas is now up to third. Armstrong currently in the fourth spot. Can he come back? He'll go back down to the bottom. Thinks about the crisscross. This is going to allow Garcia to throw it to the bottom because Quinn had to check up a little bit. A little bit of a defense down to the bottom for Papasavas. Armstrong had to check. And Garcia thought about trying to make the move. Not able to get it done. Now he'll go to the bottom of the racetrack as well. Armstrong able to get the move done, but again, Papasavas coming out on top on that restart. DeFabus, I don't think had the best start. Probably should have punched off a bit earlier in 3 and 4. Waited, and that really kept Giafoni with him. But in the end, just opportunities to make passes. Giafoni wasn't able to get done immediately, and I think we're seeing right now, even that Jay Howard car is just a bad, fast race car.
Yeah, he's showing his speed now. Not the best restart for him, but definitely was able to hold that position, and that's really all that matters here. He's now 0.2 a lap faster and pulling away from the car in second, Nicholas Giafoni. So hopefully for him, he can keep this pace, and we'll see if anyone can put up a fight later on in this race. There's still 16 laps to go,
yeah,
so
we
still got a long way.
We got a while to go still. 16 laps remaining. What a win this would be for Tanner DeFabus, the local driver. He lives in Avon, folks. You guys know how close that is. This kid, to win here, dream come true. We've already talked about Euban winning at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but man, to win here in the Freedom 75 for a young driver, for Jay Howard Driver Development, the momentum and the confidence this would give him for the remainder of the season is huge. It's just so big, Euban.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge, and the crowd that we get here is super cool, too. This whole crowd, they come for the Silver Crown race, they come for this race, they come for the USF Pro 2000 race, and they enjoy every bit of it. So it's a cool experience to watch and cool crowd to have here.
Indeed. Laps winding down, as we said, lap 61 in the books. 14 remain here in the Freedom 75. Biggest battle right now between the two Pabst Racing drivers, Sam Corey and Hudson Schwartz, for the last spot in the top 10. Schwartz running the bottom side on Corey, trying to see if he can't get the job done. They're side by side across the line again. There is Garcia to the top side. He's now battling with Xavier Kokai. As I said before, open test session on Wednesday. Kokai was the quickest in both of those 45-minute sessions, but lost it in turn 3 and 4 in the test session on Thursday. Shook him up a little bit, but he is coming back at it again. The Australian driver coming out of Formula 1600, the Australian Formula 1600 Championship program, has not had a great season so far. He's back in 18th in points, but really has been strong here on the oval. He's taken to it very nicely and is in the middle of a good scrap. He's got himself up to P4. Kokai rolling here as well.
Oh, big moment there for the 8 car. That's
Costello.
Michael Costello there. Hope he's been the biggest mover so far, moving from 15th up to the P7 place, but definitely that car getting a little loose. I wonder if he burned his tires a little bit early. And
that's what we talked about earlier, right? How much do you press early? You want to make sure you still have the tires at the end. This fight here we're seeing right now is for 5th, 6th, and 7th. That is Garcia, 6th, 7th, 8th. Garcia, Costello, and Cox.
Costello running that low line. It's really difficult to run the low line when you got a loose car, so he's doing it well so far, but let's see if he can hold on to that.
And that's exactly it. When you're down to the bottom like that, you've got a lot of wheel and keeping at the bottom, and that rear end wants to step out. And another little wiggle there. You can see he's having to make those corrections on the exit when he's really back on power. What a recovery for Elliot Cox as well. Remember, folks, he was all the way back in 14th. And then now I know we had a couple of drivers out of it, but he has worked his way forward up and now to 8th spot, potentially, as we know now, battling for a spot in the top 6. In fact, he makes a move to the bottom there. I think he gets by Costello. So the 67 to Cox will be taking care of the tires a bit early. Doing a great job working his way forward.
And I can tell you Costello is not having a fun time in the car right now. Anytime the car is this loose, it's not fun for the driver. You're afraid you're going to be in the wall at any second right now, but he's doing a good job holding on to it.
Again, maybe right now thinking, hey, I got to back it down to about 70% to make sure I'm good. Spotters will stick with him here right now. There's that run up the front straightaway here again. This is the good battle we're watching here.
Kokai also one of the biggest movers of the race.
Yeah.
Now moving into P4 from P10 at the start of the race.
He's making the move right now on Quinn Armstrong. You're talking about it there. You've great drive here for Xavier Kokai.
He's just a couple spots away from that podium position. He's got his eyes on Evagor's Papasavas there right in front of him as he makes the move for fourth. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, the VRD card to the bottom. We know the VRD cards have been pretty good. We saw it there with Max Taylor. Of course, he'll have nothing to show for it after the contact with Ayrton Hauk. But Kokai is working his way up here now. He'll now put the crosshairs on Evagoras Papasavas. And right there onto the gearbox right now, Xavier Kokai, the Aussie.
It's going to be 5 to go at the line, so not a lot of time, but he's got the pace.
We know what it's like over the last couple of laps here. DeFabus leading the way now by 2 seconds. We're still watching this battle right now for P3 potentially. No, actually, here comes Quinn Armstrong. With the two Aussie drivers battling it out here in Indiana. Big runner on the top. Look at Kokai running the top line.
Really high there for Kokai.
Yeah.
I think Papasavas' spotter told him to run the low line because that's what Kokai was running.
Big wiggle for Kokai. Sorry, Yuvan. He got all sorts of crossed up coming through turn number 3 and 4. Laps winding down. Here comes DeFabus out of turn number 4. It'll be 3 to go this time, but I still keying on this battle for P4. Armstrong versus Kokai. That is 4th and 5th. And that scrap there is kind of, I think, taking the pressure of Evagoras Papasavas, who's going to close up on the point lead laid down by Max Garcia, who currently runs 6th. Garcia still getting challenged here by Elliot Cox as well. What a drive for Elliot.
And look there again, Kokai running the low line, and Papasavas' spotter telling him to also run the low line. Takes that air away from Kokai on the low line, not allowing him to make that move.
So here we go. White flag will fly this next time by. We're still kind of keying on the leaders here. That battle round for 4th and 5th, but the leader coming out of turn number 3 and 4. And away we go. White flag flying. 1 to go for Tanner DeFabus. What experience this will be for the young Avon, Indiana driver. He works his way through 1 and 2. All he has to do is negotiate 3 and 4, and it will be an Indiana driver winning here in the Freedom 75. He'll roll it into turn 3 and 4. It's got to be clean coming out of the corner. The winner of the Freedom 75, Tanner DeFabus. Big for Jay Howard driver development. DeFabus started 3rd. Side-by-side battle. I think Elliot Cox, he got Garcia. So DeFabus ends up as your winner. Nicholas Giafone in 2nd. Evagoras Papasavas 3rd. Quinn Armstrong 4th. Xavier Kokai 5th. And it's a big party over in the Speedway Indoor Karting Suite up here right now because Elliot Cox from 13th up into 6th. What a drive for Elliot Cox. And especially on that final lap, Cox in the 67 able to stay to the bottom, and he nips Max Garcia at the line. What was it? Trying to figure out how close it was. How about a thousandth of a second at the line? 1/1000th of a second at the line.
On my screen, it literally shows them the exact same time at the end. I think it was even less than a thousandth.
Well, the difference here is, it's crazy, right? Unbelievable. Great run there for Elliot Cox, having been back in 14th at a time. But this is absolutely massive for DeFabus. Down there right now, getting out of the car. Big for him. There's Joe Hidalgo right there. The crew's heading down there. He is pumped. Tanner DeFabus coming away with the victory. That's how much it means to win here. Absolutely elated for Tanner. Knew he had a great race car. Qualified 3rd. I think the concept, was probably just to kind of settle in and come away with some good experience. But instead, it ends up being a victory. That car was an absolute rocket. He quickly was able to dispatch of Giafone, worked his way into the lead, pulled away. Not the best restart, but still able to capitalize. And Tanner DeFabus, excellent job. Everybody heading over to the scales to make sure we get the weigh-in after the race. Nicholas Giafone wanted that victory. Ends up coming home in 2nd, but a crucial second-place finish for him as well. It's crucial points, 38 points for P2, points and a half. So for him in the championship chase, he came in here 14th. The driver who won the USF Juniors Championship last year. For him to do what he did, pretty impressive.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, points are a big thing, and especially with this points and a half. And he's going to get a big gap, too, on Max Garcia there, because Max Garcia did not have the greatest race and finished coming home P7. So will definitely be a good thing for him to look into.
Euban, thank you so much, man. I know you got work to do. And hold on, there's Jay Howard. Jay Howard finally finding his way down to his driver, Tanner DeFabis. And there again, the celebration after a tremendous victory for the young driver out of Avon. Here comes Dad as well. The whole crew's coming down. Love it. The celebrations continue. Euban, again, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Euban Sundaram-Worthy.
Thanks for having me.
We'll watch Euban throughout the season here in Indy next. He'll go on top now to spot for Nicholas Baptiste in the USF Pro 2000 Freedom 90. But it is definitely going to be a party down there. Team DeFabis is pumped up for sure. Huge victory for Tanner. Got to let that soak in right now. Series will bring out our victory lane podium. We'll get a chance to celebrate with these young drivers. One caution period, as we know. Ayrton Hauk, who was running a strong second, lost the rear of the car coming out of turn number 3. As it looped around, Max Taylor with nowhere to go, contact there. Both those drivers out of the race. Brady Golden was out early as well. Your top 10, Tanner DeFabis, P1, Nicholas Giafone in second, Evagoras Papasavas in third, Quinn Armstrong fourth, Xavier Kokai, great job for Xavier, started 10th, he rolled his way up into 5th. Elliot Cox started 13th, he gets up to 6th spot. What a tremendous drive for Elliot. A 7-position improvement gets himself up there. Max Garcia ends up in 7th spot. Michael Costello, the car getting loose at the end, as we know, he ends up in 8th. Joey Brienza, who started in 11th, he goes to 9th, and Hudson Schwartz rounds out the top 10. There's the two drivers there. Jay Howard, driver development, putting 2 of them on the podium with the winner DeFabis and third-place finisher Evagoras Papasavas. They flank Nicholas Giafone, but that was a big win for Tanner DeFabis and really did not put a wheel wrong at all. He was on it throughout that entire race. So impressive the way he was able to handle the, number one, the conditions itself, and number 2, then the restart, able to pull away as well. So we'll get things dialed in here soon with the victory lane celebrations, the podium working its way around from inside the paddock. Get a chance to get these drivers up on the podium and celebrate their accomplishments here at IRP today. USF Pro 2000 drivers back in the paddock, strapped in and ready to go. We'll pull them out here as soon as we get close to the victory lane celebrations. Those teams bringing all their equipment into pit lane now. Getting an opportunity for a lot of the cars that were part of the USAC events to load up and get themselves out there as well. And again, coming down here to victory lane. Time to celebrate these young drivers. Again, we always talk about the fact that USF Pro Championships are really the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series. These are the racers you're going to see at the Speedway at the Indy 500 in many years. So we look at the USF Pro 2000 category that's rolling out here momentarily. You look at the last 6 years. You got Miles Rowe and Louis Foster, the champions of the last 2 years. They're running in Indy Next right now. But then the 4 champions before, all in IndyCar and all running in the 500 this weekend. Christian Rasmussen, Stingray Robb, Kyle Kirkwood, and Renus VK. This USF Pro Championship just builds IndyCar drivers. That's what we're here for, to send these drivers on this road to Indianapolis. So getting ready to get things underway down here in Victory Lane. Get the champagne laid out. We'll get a chance to bring our top 3 drivers up here. What a tremendous drive it was, and we'll get a chance to celebrate the winner. Again, from nearby Avon. Always awesome to have a local winner like this, and I'm sure he'll be thrilled. Almost getting set to go here, folks. I think we are underway. Yeah, we're ready to go. Let's get down to victory lane, folks. Let's start with a driver coming home in 3rd place. Another podium finish. It is his 6th podium finish. Finishing in 3rd for Jay Howard Driver Development, Evagoras Papasavas. finishing in second spot, started on the pole. Big run up to P2 to hold on to the spot. Good points for D-Force Racing. Second place today in the Freedom 75, Nicholas Giaffone. But how about this, folks? Hometown boy from Avon gets the victory. His first win in the USF Pro Championships. Today's winner of the Freedom 75 for J. Howard Driver Development, Tanner DeFamus. Flawless run for Tanner. Absolutely spectacular. Shout out to the J. Howard Driver Development crew for giving him a hot rod. They had that thing tuned up. It was perfect on the bottom. It was perfect on the top. He handled the starts and restarts well. What a fantastic performance for Tanner. And again, all three of these young drivers, so talented. Tanner, Nicholas, and Evagoras. They will have their sights set on the USF Pro 2000 level to be just 2 steps away from IndyCar. Grip it and rip it, boys. Have some fun. Let's get that champagne spraying. Oh, they're going after Tanner hard. That's what you get when you win your first race win here in the USF Pro Championship program. Evagoras is going to finish him off. Once again, folks, how about a round of applause for the drivers here in USF 2000, the local winner, Tanner DeFamus. So impressive.